and welcome back to the Quartercast, where we are slaying the me monster in all seasons of life. We got a special guest with us today.
We do. We have somebody that you've never seen before, and I'm kidding. So obviously, we've got our oldest son, number 2 child, the man, the myth, the legend, Caleb.
The neglected one.
Yes, the neglected one. The number 2, the middle child.
That's way too much to unpack on a podcast. He's probably speaking truth, though.
So Christopher Caleb Corder.
Bold Christ
named bearer. Bold Christ Bearer. And it's a reality, which is really cool. And what an amazing transition and process of life that's been for us to observe. We're so thankful to have you back with us.
Thankful for y'all.
You had to share all the stage with another brother and a sister and a brother-in-law, and now it's just you, my man. Yeah. So you're free to you can go wherever you want to go. Isn't that cool? Do you feel free, or do you feel like you need them?
No, I feel free. I like it.
Well, I'm his mom, and I'm very thankful that we didn't slay him, so that we can now talk about slaying the me monster and what that looks like.
That's so good.
Not completely.
Yes, that's right.
Not completely. Yeah, we did some serious harm, and then God brought some serious redemption out of all that too. What an amazing thing to think back. So. Let's do this. Why don't you kind of update everybody? Anybody can go back and watch season 1, which you would have been a part of each one of those podcasts, and those were very special, very fun.
Yeah.
And we kind of really framed up the Corder family in a lot of good detail, but also within that was your story. Mm-hmm. And but why don't you kind of let people know who might not have seen season 1, tell them a little bit about life, how old you are, a little bit of your story, maybe how you met Jesus, and then where you went in life in some directions and where life took you briefly. Okay. And then kind of where you are now a little bit. Why don't you update and just let people know that have never known who you are?
Gosh, a lot's changed.
Yeah, it has.
I was living with Mimi, sleeping in her attic room.
Oh, wow. When we were filming those other ones?
I actually forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot's changed.
Yeah.
With work, with relational status, with life.
You got a whole new life. You have a whole new life in a lot of ways. Yeah. Yeah. So take them from early, though. So tell them a little bit about your story. Tell them a little bit about your story, and then we'll talk about now, kind of what's going on now.
You mean like growing up?
Yeah, 28 years old. That's your age. Uh-huh. And then, so when did you meet Jesus?
I met Jesus at 5 years old. Was baptized
in the back of Pawpaw's car, wasn't it?
And baptized by him as well, Pawpaw.
Yeah.
Who
Pawpaw
we talked
being
about.
Chris's dad.
Yeah.
Yes, being Chris's dad. I thought you said me and Chris's dad. I was like,
Pawpaw being Chris's dad
is my dad.
Yes, he led me to Christ and baptized me, and I was pretty bold as a young follower of Christ, would lead other kids to Christ, and just grew up going to VBS, and so the admit, believe, confess way of leading people to Christ is how I did that.
ABCs.
And it was a scare tactic that I like to use to little kids, telling them that they were doomed to hell unless they accepted Jesus.
I mean, what a way to win souls.
very, very directly and boldly saying it, weren't you?
Actually true to his personality. You know, if it works for me,
I was saying it with a blank face, so probably. But yeah, I loved Jesus and was pretty passionate about leading people to him at a young age, and would keep up with the number of people that I led to Christ. I would tell y'all, now I'm at 12 people and 13, and then I think a lot of the reasons y'all started asking me about if something had happened or whatever was because I'd stopped doing that for a long time. Yeah. But the really big part of my story that is really impactful to me and something I'm still walking through and working through and asking God to reveal areas of my heart and life that trace back to this event when I was 7 or 8, can't pinpoint the exact age. I was sexually abused or molested by an older teenage guy who was probably about 14 or 15, knew exactly what he was doing. And I was still at an age where I was just very innocent, had no idea what was going on, was told not to tell anybody, carried that with me for 4 years.
Yep.
And I remember throughout the 4 years, y'all asked me multiple times, like, is something wrong? Are you okay?
Mm-hmm.
I started living in fear a lot too. I would be scared to sleep by myself, which wasn't very normal. Like having terrible nightmares of like somebody coming to kidnap me or whatever. So just like was filled with a lot of fear, and got pretty good at lying from a young age too, about just hiding the reality of where my heart was and the weight of what had happened. I didn't realize the impact it had made on me until, obviously much older in life. But had a pretty traumatic experience that impacted my heart in a negative way, and changed my viewpoint of a lot of things.
Who God is.
Who God is, and impacted my trust not only in people but in God a lot, in more ways than I really ever knew until I've gotten older and realized. So anyway, pretty significant part of my life. And told y'all when I was about 11 or 12 probably.
Yeah, about 11.
Still didn't want anybody else to know. Grew up in a broken household, which we've talked all about, and just was completely mistaken on how to do relationships and what your relationship with Christ is supposed to look like, what a real one looks like, what a relationship with somebody that you like as another human being, what that looks like is supposed to be. And so obviously liked girls and dated girls and went through a lot of really unhealthy, really bad relationships. And a lot of it stemmed, on my side at least, from a lack of trust and just wanting to control out of a place of hurt that roots back to being completely out of control when I was molested. And I've never really been able to like put all that together until the last few years of like, oh wow, this makes a lot of sense. And
I think we were in such an unhealthy place during that time that we were ill-equipped to help you. Even when you did come to us and tell us, like, it's we were just not in a great place, and so we didn't handle that right either.
I think a lot of the relationship with God, part of it too, was we were very involved in church. Y'all were very involved in small groups and but sang on the praise team, and just,
we're very active in leadership.
Outside.
Very active in church, but then in reality we had a very broken family. And then when I got to be 18, 19, and discovering all of the things that had happened with Mom, just all of it wrapped together was just a big hit on Christianity in my life and what that looked like in my relationship with God and who He is and how to walk that out, and trusting Him, even like seeing you guys involved in church and leading small groups, and then the marriage and life and difficulty that y'all always experienced and we experienced as a family. I'm like, do I really want to trust this kind of God?
Right. So, is this what I've got to look forward to as well?
And so just as a whole, just like trust was
a
completely not possible for me for many years of my life. But when we started the first podcast, it was just me and you, and we did a few episodes in the medical office that I was working at.
I think we did 10 or 11.
That was nice of them to let
that's
y'all
called
do that.
Connecting with the Quarters. If you want to reference back,
I think
there's
you can
some good
find
ones
them.
actually.
I think you can find them
on
by going to
YouTube.
Quartercast.
On YouTube.
Yeah, they're there.
I think they're still there.
Okay.
I think it's all under the same thing, right? So just scroll.
You got to scroll. So we did some podcasts then, and you were in a very different season then, even.
I'm trying to remember when that was. That was right after. That was right after my difficult relationship that ended, and right.
I think so. I think so. I think it was, and
which was a really good time in my life too, because that's when I wrote the 21 day. Yeah,
that pain was your friend.
That's when I wrote the 21 day devotional.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of unmet expectations because before that I was single for 4 years.
Yeah.
And so I just had this expectation that the next one's the last one.
Yeah.
And for it to have gone the way it did and ended as quickly as it did, it was just like a big hit to my pride and my expectations. And so
we're completely blown.
Confidence, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
but when you look back, and so to help everybody kind of understand that too, and to explain, because it's so tied in perfectly with what all we want to pull out. So the way you would probably say the way you handled that relationship, even though you had a big break several years and had gained health and had been growing, but when your heart became totally for another person, another young lady, you found yourself doing and behaving in much the same manner as somebody that had not been growing like you had grown. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
So it triggered a lot of the same fear responses, insecurity responses, trust issues, if you will. Some of it too is rooted in your natural oxygen needs. One of them being strongly controlled, probably choices and challenge, and feeling completely out of control when you entered into a place where you cared about somebody. Would you agree?
Yeah.
And so we framed some of that up pretty well in some of those episodes, and just we're dialoguing and outward processing some of that. That's pretty neat. Then we went into the quarter cast and finished that up about a year ago, probably filming things in that first season or close to it. And that's where you were saying you still lived in an upstairs garage apartment at Mimi's house.
Yep.
And
well, at the end of the quarter cast, me and Jacob were living together.
Okay.
Season 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, season 2.
Well, the end of season 1.
Well, it's the season 1 of the quarter cast, but the second season.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you were then in a living in an apartment with Jacob Bowers, who was on is either going to be on episodes or was on episodes of this podcast. Very cool. All right. So you, at the end of the quarter cast season 1, you are now living in an apartment with Jacob Bowers and your brother. You're working where you work now. All right. Were you in a management role then? All right. So you were still not in a management role, growing in the career world, and kind of comfortable in your own skin by yourself, maybe for the first time. Yeah. Would you agree with that? Kind of frame up what your expectations and mindset was at that point.
I think looking back, some of it might have been a little unhealthy.
Okay.
I think it was more of like, well, I'm just going to be successful and make money and live my life. Okay. And I think I started to have an unhealthy desire for singleness.
Okay.
And a lot of it was rooted in just like continued unmet expectations as far as like, okay, at the time I was 27, now I'm 28. Okay, I'm 27 years old. I have not had a relationship in my 20s longer than a few months.
Okay.
I constantly go into them with these high expectations, and I'm always let down. And so I just kind of
like that guarding your heart almost.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah. So it was a little unhealthy. But at the same time, I was genuinely praying and asking God, like, should I have this desire for marriage? Because at the core of my heart, at the bottom of my heart, I do still desire to have marriage, to have a wife, to have a family in the future. And I was, for the first time, starting to make a little money and was enjoying having my own money and my own this and my own that. And I bought my first nicer car, and a little later after that, I bought a house. And so I was doing these things, and I was like, do I want
to share this with anybody?
Yeah. So, but I was kind of going back and forth, kind of wrestling with God, like, okay, God, I think you've given me this desire. Is this desire coming from social media and what I see on there, or is this something you've placed in my heart? and a lot of it being rooted in, like, you know, God will give you the desires of your heart. But the first part of it says, take delight in the Lord. And so I was learning how for my heart to be delighting in the Lord, and then, okay, what desires are my own doing and what desires are actually yours.
Good. It's a great process.
And wrestling with that. And I think towards the end of last year, I started to come to the realization, okay, I do want marriage, I do want a wife, but I was still, I think at that point is when I was the most content in, like, okay, God, I want this, but, like, I'm okay right now. And I think because I had wrestled with that and, like, genuinely asked God those questions, I trusted him with the answer. Yeah. And so, towards the end of last year, I was pretty content in where I was and being single, and just walking out, working every day, growing in career and learning how to work hard and provide for, at the time, just myself, and learn how to provide for a family in the future. And
it was developing responsibility.
You got to bring your little brother with you a lot, so you got to. Not that you're necessarily providing for him, but you do get to be a father figure.
You do get to practice parenting to a degree, which is good. With Will, our youngest son, and so
who is probably getting home right now from an install.
Yeah, there you go. So he is. So Caleb, at that season, it's interesting to hear because the framing is you are learning what true contentment is going to be rooted in, which is more identity, more fear and insecurity can't be around, and us be really honestly content. Mm-hmm. What's good is you said some neat things, because you said you did some reactionary singleness, and that was I'm in this mindset of I'm not going to give my heart again because it always gets hurt and it doesn't work well. And again, fear, insecurity rooted. And then God just kept doing a work, showing you more of himself, showing you more of you and what's going on in your own heart, right? What are the motivations?
Mm-hmm. He actually came through one of our small groups, like he just asked, can I come to it? I know I'm just a single guy, but can I, since y'all are the leaders, could you think you could exercise a little pull here and let your son come? So I actually came to a married small group.
Which
single,
is great.
not dating anybody, but he wanted to grow in that area, and he wanted to be around that kind of community too. I think.
And I was still in the middle of praying the prayers of "Is this for me?" and but I knew if I was in the mindset of, okay, if that is for me, I want to be prepared for it, because I haven't been.
And so frame up this way, because you're in a different season now. We're going to bring that up in just a second, but I want you to frame up what you discovered. What were your go-tos that would produce the lack of health in your own heart? Because it wasn't the young lady's fault. You would go there anyway. Mm-hmm. And so what were the things that now you're really probably so confident to say, these are the things I identified that I would respond with, and they were totally unhealthy every time? Give us a couple of those for people to think about, just to kind of hit.
Can you reword that?
Well, yeah. So let me ask you a question. So when you're thinking about how you always did previous relationships, because we're about to reframe where you are now, okay? And how you would do those relationships, they would always end up in the same place, because there was this emphasis of controlling to minimize the risk of hurt, right? Would you agree?
Yeah.
So some of that was personality driven, out of control. Some of it was based on your past life experience and the horrible things that happened in different areas. And then some of it could have been other motivations. Give us some ideas on what you've identified as what the main things that you now wanted to avoid in your relationships today and going forward.
I think I had an unhealthy expectation of marriage.
Yeah.
I think I had an unhealthy desire to have a significant other in my life, maybe out of a fear of loneliness, which is funny because I've spent 6.5, 7 years of my 20s single. Yeah. And So I think I also am so task focused in my personality that like a relationship becomes a task, and it's like been failure after failure after failure as far as like a task.
Yeah.
And so I think just on the pedestal of my life was a person, and people would constantly fit this by being a girlfriend of mine. I wouldn't say it was a person. It was just this expectation of
an image of what you thought would happen.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I think just reframing the purpose of my life and who's supposed to be on the pedestal of my life and what my main focus should be, and like reorienting all of that, allowing God to really, has been really good for me. And I've seen differences in the relationship that I'm in now. So surprise.
Yeah.
Well, and
surprise.
I think there's been this shift of even the purpose that you see for marriage, going from something where you will be affirmed,
fulfilled,
and served and fulfilled, to marriage actually being an opportunity to love and serve, and help with even though you can never be the fulfillment of another person, you can serve and provide those things when you're healthy. And so like even just a shifting of a focus of what the purpose of marriage was, don't you think?
Yeah.
I think I thought that I wanted this other person to completely be just my completeness, my enoughness, my oxygen, as y'all say.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I think I had a thought and I just lost it.
Welcome to our world. We do that lots.
You're behaving like a 57-year-old.
Well, I am in a new relationship. So dating a wonderful girl named Gracie.
Yeah.
Hoyt.
Yes.
She's actually sitting over there. He just looked over his shoulder.
Who's here.
Yeah. There you go.
Supporting me.
Yes.
We actually met through my cousin Haley.
Yeah.
And I was having like a game night. I just bought the house a couple months ago and had a game night, invited Haley. Haley brought a friend, and that friend was Gracie. So we like to joke and say that she just walked into my house.
That's a great way for God to provide somebody.
Yeah, which is cool.
Yeah.
And we enjoyed each other's company, got to know each other. I asked her to go get coffee. We went to get a bite to eat, played pickleball, just really enjoyed each other, and got to know each other more and more. And I was like, hey, I really like you.
Yes.
Will you go out with me? Will you be my girlfriend? Will you? What did y'all call it? Will you go with me?
Will you go with me? That's what we used to call it. Will you go with me?
I want to highlight this too, because I think this was a first for you to actually pursue friendship.
That was the other thing is I wasn't. Well, it was the first for me to pursue it in the way that I did.
Right,
but
friendship out of it first, rather than a relationship.
I was pursuing.
Yeah.
Like versus making. Yeah. He was you were taking the risk steps that you were so uncomfortable to take prior to this season of your life, right? Would you agree?
Yeah.
And which shows there's health, there's growth in this whole risk dynamic and this whole expectation, the way you used to frame your expectations of what a relationship was for and what it would look like.
Yeah.
Right. And so, and then those expectations would frame your behavior within the relationship, which was quite often very, very unhealthy. Would you agree?
Oh, yeah.
For you or the other person in the relationship. So it's been fun for your mom and I, because we're watching you now in a season of life where you're super for somebody and you're throwing strong words around, right? And around this human being. And so we think she's amazing too, but we're watching you handle this relationship in we would say probably the first obviously biblical manner of doing dating, doing courting, whatever you want to call it. which was started with the friendships, rooted in a friendship, and y'all are walking that out. And give some ideas around that in your mind. Would you agree with what I just said?
Yeah.
You think that's true?
Yes, I think the main difference for me is because of everything I've been through with failure after failure, and like where my mindset was towards relationships in general, I'm having to battle that.
Yeah.
But I have the tools I need through relationship with Christ, through letting you guys into the relationship. I'm seeing a counselor.
Yeah.
I've got all of these tools that I need to be able to combat and battle and not already be on the
old tendencies. Yeah.
And so it's been kind of similar in the sense of like I'm being tempted to go where I've gone before.
Yeah.
Which is control,
complete, constant fear.
Build a massive insulator around this human where nobody else can ever make it not go well. Would you agree?
Yeah, which the other thing that's been actually crazy to me, blows my mind, is I've like voiced these things of like, hey, like here's what I really want to do. I'd love to place you in bubble wrap and just roll you around with me everywhere I go, so that I
keep you off for myself, nobody else.
Don't let anybody else talk to you, because what if you like them better than me, etc.
Yeah, which she's been very kind and gentle when I express like these fears, and it hasn't been like a shrink back and like be defensive and she doesn't respond out of fear to me voicing my fear. Right. And so we're kind of like, I'm voicing my fear, she's receiving it, she's affirming me in certain things in certain ways, and so it's just a constant, yes, I'm giving it to God, yes, I'm putting him on the pedestal of my life, voicing, God, my sufficiency is in you, my oxygen comes from you, I believe that, proclaim that. But then also on the flip side, like, it's been great having somebody who's healthy and cares for me and is able to hear these things, receive these things, and like we walk through it together in a sense of
and her sufficiency being in Christ is a big deal.
Well, yeah.
It would have to be for that to be going down. So let's take it to the themes and let you express it in light of the theme. So the theme of the podcast is standing firm in today's culture. So we have a culture that doesn't do relationships the way y'all are doing a relationship. The culture tells you that the physical dynamic needs to go all the way as soon as possible for you to ever know if you'll be compatible with somebody.
Yeah.
The other theme of this year's season with the quarter cast is slaying the me monster.
Yep.
So in light of those two themes, tell me what it's like now walking out the slaying of the me monster daily, and multiple times a day usually for honest people, authentic humans, and how you're having to battle culture too, which frames expectations sometimes. So give us those dynamics a little bit.
I think we both constantly voice, hey, like, I need to do better in spending time with God in the morning, or doing my quiet time at this time, or I didn't even read my Bible today. Like, I think we both voice those things, and so we both have the understanding that Christ has to remain at the center of our relationship, and Christ has to remain at the pedestal of both of our lives. And so we're
which is quite a challenge when you're massively for another human.
Very challenging.
Yes. And so
I think like the teamwork aspect of like, yes, we're dating, but like instead of each other becoming completely on the pedestal of our lives, we constantly are voicing like, I need to spend time with Jesus today. Like, hey, I'm going to hang up the phone a little earlier tonight to do my quiet time, whatever it is. Like, we're both remaining where we need to remain as far as keeping Jesus at
the priority,
at our core focus.
Yeah.
Which is a huge help in every other area.
Big time.
And I think we both have relationships with our parents where we're like, completely involving them in the whole entire thing.
I want to say something there because I actually had a discussion with Gracie's parents about this, and they wholeheartedly agreed that I do believe that the whole idea of courtship is really a lost art, where you intentionally spend time with one another's families in their presence. I mean, it removes areas of temptation, I think, and also, her parents are still married, your parents are still married, each set of parents have definitely had seasons of good times and bad in their marriages. That's inevitable. And so just exposing yourself to being around that is so healthy. And I do think it's a lost art today. I mean, I do think that couples just, they just quickly become each other's source of everything, and then they want to move in together, and the physical relationship begins to take the place of that friendship that's developing. And so I'm so glad you said that about spending time with one another's families. Y'all do very well at that, and I think that's super important.
I think the other thing we agree on that has been probably a little more difficult for me because of decisions I've made in the past, but we're in complete agreement. It is, we obviously don't sleep over at each other's houses,
right?
Which is very easy to do when you're dating somebody. You live close in the same city. It's very easy for it to become a habit of, like, even if I'm sleeping on the couch, I'll just stay over here. We're not doing those things.
Keeping healthy boundaries,
right? Which has been a huge help in the other areas, because I mean, it's 10:30 and we're like, hey, I'm going to go home. When in past relationships, for me at least, it's, getting into bed. And so even if that doesn't come with the full aspect of the bed, but it's still the idea of what that is, what the bedroom is, what marriage is supposed to look like, and sharing a room and sharing a bed and sleeping together and waking up together. Like, we're refraining from going near that, which has been a huge help for me in keeping my
purity
and heart focused on what's important.
That's really good. So slaying the me monster in the middle of all that temptation is really easy, isn't it? Once you just practice it once or twice, it just comes naturally at that point, right?
No.
So what is it? What are some dynamics that you're dealing with, really, for somebody else that would be watching this? Because we'll refer other families to this who have children that are in the process of serious dating, and they'll be listening. So, what is slaying the me monster, getting your rear end on a cross and letting Jesus be on the throne of your heart, look like practically? Give us a couple of instances, examples. And it could be related to fear or insecurity tendencies of the past. It could be related to it could be related to natural appetites.
Oh yeah. For me, I think a lot of it is, and we've had these conversations, and like rewiring my brain to pray the right prayers. When Gracie and I first started dating, a lot of my prayers were, Lord, would you show me if she's lying? Would you show me if she's doing this out of spite? Would you show me if her intentions are not in the right place? Instead of praying prayers out of protection for my own heart, shifting them to asking God to move in her life through the Holy Spirit to bless her, to protect her, to help her to fall more in love with Him, and it be just completely geared towards her and her heart and her life, and not protecting my own. Has also been a huge part of me, like letting go of the fears that I have.
Very good.
So
and praying different prayers and and realizing what's really the motivation versus what for your thoughts has been very freeing. To allow you to do that. Would you agree? Good. What else? What do you think about maybe the natural appetite just that come with a male in love with a female, and so how's the me monster getting slain in that world? So And you've already said you've put healthy boundaries around what you're going to do. No sleeping over. No things like that. You're keeping family in the mix pretty strong. I imagine friends are in that mix too, helping.
They're in a place where they're both adults, both in the working world, both have their own places. Nobody's living at home anymore, so there's some.
I can't threaten you to take away your car, your phone, or your car if you do something.
I can't go read my text message.
That's right. You're not using my phone anymore. So what would be a practical way of that the me monster has to be slain? What's on that front? Anything else? You've done some good ones. I just wonder if there's anything else that comes to mind.
I think it's just an agreement on both of our ends of the boundaries that we've set, and then even in the midst of difficulty or whatever it is, it's remaining true to those.
Good.
And yeah, I mean, that hasn't been a huge difficulty on my end of like, oh my gosh, really sucking at this, because she's been on the same page. And so, yeah, I think
that's good.
I think the biggest thing for me in the current relationship, which also I think helps me in that aspect, is just like it's a marriage type prayer of like considering the other person over yourself. It's a selfless prayer, not a prayer out of protection, which leads me to control, but a prayer out of love and desire for the other person to be blessed. And if they're blessed by me being in their life, then praise God.
Yes.
And just trusting God, walking in obedience to Him, trusting God with the other person's heart, the other person's day-to-day actions and decision making. And I'm still
in process. You're in process.
And I have bad days and I have bad
times. Good days and bad days.
Yeah.
And it's wild. It's so cool. So I'm going to say this. I think it's cool, and we'll cut it if it's still in here, y'all will know. So you told me a few weeks ago, like, doing it God's way is really hard. Okay. And
it requires something of you.
It does on the front side, but then I've told you basically, but it doesn't come with regret. And so you're not dealing with regret in this relationship like you always had to battle in others, because you had a sense of control. You knew in your mind, you knew enough to know, okay, well, they're being straight up here. And so now I feel safe for the next 15 minutes because of the controls you would exert. Yeah. Right. And, but then you lived in regret, because then you were always doing things you knew that you didn't need to do, shouldn't do. Mm-hmm. Right. And so would you say that the lack of regret, the weight of doing it God's way is heavier, or the weight of regret, the old ways, is heavier? Which way? I'm
Definitely
curious.
The weight of regret.
I would think so. I would bet.
And because of, I don't know, maybe it's because of how I'm wired. Maybe it's because of other things I've been through in the past. Like, getting past that has always been a long journey for me. Yeah. Some people can be in relationship after relationship, and we're actually different in that. We're like, I've had these short relationships and I've needed years to
in between.
Yeah, because like
to process it,
to work through it, to let go of it, to trust God with, what's next. Yeah. And she's been different in that, because she's had healthy overall relationships where like, there's not anything to heal from. There's not any other than just like the disappointment of it not working out. So we're different in that too, where like we've talked about it and almost laughed about it. I've like had so many years between these relationships that only lasted a couple months. And I think a lot of it is because of the regret in the way that I handled the relationship and the way that I handled the responsibility of another person's life and heart and relationship with Christ and things like that. So yeah.
That's so cool.
I think that you are learning to, because of things not being done, quote, right in the past, or being done God's way, that we are always there is always a price to pay. There is a price to pay for discipline and doing it God's way, And there is also a price to pay in the form of regret for not doing it. There is always going to be a price to pay, but the rewards come when we pay the price of discipline and doing it God's way versus the
non-trusting way,
non-trusting,
right? Would you agree?
The regret. I mean, we always just, like in our story, we talk about how sin in our life goes deeper, touches more people, and impacts us for a longer period of time than we could ever imagine when we're in it. But there is a positive to that too, and that is that doing things right, doing things
submitting
God's
to truth
way,
and trusting God's
and
heart,
obeying goes deeper and impacts more people for a longer period of time than we can imagine when we're in the hard part of being disciplined in that way.
Right. And so that's so fun to hear. I'll ask you one more question and then we'll wrap this one up, unless you have a question.
No, I don't.
And so in light of like expectations, okay, so now you're in a relationship, you're framing it up in light of truth, and then doing the work required to build trust muscles, to trust God with the relationship and respond in that way. And that's a daily, over and over again choice that you'll get to make, that beyond feelings.
Yeah.
A lot of times there will be some good feelings that'll help you make better choices, but oftentimes we're battling feelings that aren't as comfortable to us. And so you're doing that. What do expectations look like now? Are you learning that you're still going to end up with degrees of blown expectations once you're really doing it God's way, because you're really learning another completely different human being? What do you think about that? What would you say in light of expectations?
I think I've learned more so in this relationship than others. I think a lot of it has to do with because she actually cares to hear my expectations, but also I just openly sometimes voice them, and I'm learning how many expectations I really have, even to the smallest of things. So I don't think she would mind me sharing. The other night I wanted her to call me. And I didn't tell her I wanted her to call me. I just wanted her to call me. And she did not call me, and I got mad that we said goodnight without her calling me. And so she called me after I sent a text message showing frustration that she had not called me, and she was like, I'm kind of confused because I didn't know you wanted me to call you. I would have called you if I had known you. I wanted you to call me without me telling you.
I'm feeling her confusion right now.
So that's just a small example, but
so we do develop expectations that they'll read our minds. All people do this to other people they're close with, just so you know.
Well,
and when we hear ourselves say it, we realize, that wasn't the best thing. But when we're in it, the raw emotion, if we allow it to, it'll take over.
Well, they ought to know I expect this by now. Let me just tell you, after 33 years of marriage, they're not going to know.
And trust me, we've probably, when we've been apart, you probably wanted me to call you, and I didn't.
A few thousand times.
I think it's a pride thing for me, too. Of like, no, this person can prove to me that they love me in this moment, instead of being like, can I call you? Like, why would I not just ask if I can just call you before we go to bed?
It's like a guarding of the heart, a search for affirmation on their end, and all of those things don't lead to healthy relationships. And I mean, I'm not preaching that out. You know that.
I know. So I think I'm understanding how many expectations I really set every day. The cool thing is, in a lot of them, I've voiced like, hey, can you maybe like do this every now and then? Like just call me handsome or something, like just the normal relationship stuff of like being affirmed and like feeling
I think you're handsome.
I think you're handsome.
And she's been very receptive and sweet in that. And so I think there's also things that she's voiced to me, and so it's healthy in the fact that like we care about these expectations and want to meet them, but also we both understand at the end of the day our greatest need, our greatest expectation should be centered on Christ. And when we do experience these failed expectations, unmet expectations, we take it to Christ instead of immediately taking it to the other out of frustration.
There you go. There you go.
Lots of wisdom in that. This
is
is
strong,
which is hard.
Yeah, and so I'm going to encourage you by telling you that doesn't end.
Well, yeah.
And so that process will stay the process.
Well, it would end if she would just call me every night before I go to bed.
and that is so good because, and we'll get into more of that on another podcast.
Why's that on her?
On another podcast for sure. So I love hearing where you are. I love hearing you express and voice some of that. And we wanted you to do that because I think that's going to benefit other people because you are not alone.
Well, it's also still, I would say that I love her a lot. I'm very grateful for her, but we are still somewhat in the beginning stages of the relationship and progressing. So I would love to come back on when we're a little further along and
maybe have her on.
Have her on.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Who knows?
That'd be fun. Instead of you just having to look back at her, she could just be sitting beside you. So we'll see about that. We'll see about that in the future. We would love it because we love her and think she's awesome.
Yeah.
So
I love how this has mainly been about her and our relationship. Yeah, and she's just sitting back there.
But I think that's fun. I think that gives a good warm up and it also allows for you two to keep walking out like you said. You're kind of There's newness still.
There's accountability on the internet now.
And there's accountability on the internet. And you get to continue to walk out stuff, and then others will get to see that in future.
And obviously that you wanted an update on my life and the things I'm learning, and a lot of it is centered on the relationship that I'm in.
Yeah.
And it's really cool. It's been a blessing to my life to be dating her. It's revealed more of my heart in the areas that I don't trust God in, and allowed me to begin to trust him in deeper and more real ways, while continuing the relationship, which usually in the past it's led to the end of the relationship.
Then the revealing.
Yeah. So, and
that's really cool because
I do think that's a great point because we're always like if you wait until you have it all together, you'll never be in a relationship.
Because you're never going to have it all together any more than me or any other human.
Yeah. And so the opportunity to grow while in relationship
is what they're for.
That's right.
That's what they're for.
That's right.
So how cool. Hey, so we love you, boy. We're very thankful that you're our son. Very proud of you. Excited.
Thanks.
Yeah, I think you're handsome, and I'll call you tonight. Okay, so thanks for thank you for being a guest on the podcast with us, and we're excited that all of y'all got to see this.
Well, this is the very end, but I wanted to cut you off real quick. If you've watched this far, thanks for watching. But I love y'all, and I'm grateful for y'all, and I'm grateful for the redemption of our relationship as parents and child, and all that God's done in y'all's hearts individually and as a married couple, and what God's done in my heart and life, and being able to sit here and talk to y'all about a relationship when a few years ago y'all probably would have been the last two people that I would have ever considered talking to about my relationship.
That's very good. Very, very strong testimony. That's the power of God.
Yeah.
That's right.
And it's beautiful. Yep. And that's available for everybody.
That's the great thing.
We're in relationship with a redeeming, a relentless redeemer, if we'll let him. So stay in it, and all of you stay in it. Hey, if you're watching, we would love for you to subscribe. We would love for you to, what do they need to do, Caleb? They need to
smash the subscribe
button.
Smash the like and subscribe button.
Good. And if you're my age, you don't know what I'm talking about, ask a kid. Yes.
Give us some comments. That ups the views too.
Share it.
It absolutely does.
That's right.
Blessings. We'll see you on the next episode.
Bye.